Well, you guys are going to be absolutely floored by today's report. You see, Republican states have just unleashed hellfire on the global green agenda. But before I get into it, check out my partner at noblegoldinvestments.com. Prepare for what's coming and protect your retirement by getting an IRA backed by gold, silver, and precious metals. And you can do that at noblegoldinvestments.com. And the great news is right now, with any approved plan, they are giving away this 1/10 ounce gold coin. So check them out at noblegoldinvestments.com. All right, so let's dive into what these Republican states have done that is literally going to have you smiling ear to ear. Check it out. FoxBusiness.com. Republican states are planning an all-out assault on woke banks. We won't do business with you. The article goes on to state this: Republican state officials are readying plans to punish woke banks which push anti-fossil fuel policies and adhere to the so-called environmental, social, and governance, or ESG standard. Now, I'm just going to hit the pause button right there because that is a huge statement. For starters, the ESG standard and the ESG scores are all part of the Great Reset agenda. Why? Because what these ESG scores actually do is they rate customers and businesses based off of how green the company is, how liberal the company is, and how much equity and equality, white privilege, CRT, and how much of a social justice warrior they are. In other words, banks are using this score to convince investors to, look the other direction if such said companies don't have a certain score. And the bottom line here is this is what banks are using in order to get more liberal businesses money and expand their businesses, while more conservative businesses and Republican businesses get the back burner. Well, finally, Republicans are taking a stand. And by the way, I have been warning about the ESG scores on Restricted Republic ever since they came out. But let's go back to that article. Here's what it says. West Virginia announced last week that it would bar 5 major financial institutions, including BlackRock, Goldman Sachs, and JP Morgan, from entering into banking contracts with the state's treasurer office or any state agency. Each of the 5 corporations had committed to policies limiting commercial engagement with the fossil fuel industry, which paid a whopping $769 million in taxes to West Virginia state government. We are not going to pay for our own destruction. We are not going to subsidize that, West Virginia State Treasurer Riley Moore told Fox Business during an interview. They have weaponized our tax dollars against the very people and industry that have generated them to begin with. That is why we're pushing back against this ESG movement. A big amen to that. It goes on. Moore's actions, a first-of-its-kind response to major banks' ESG push, is likely to be the start of many similar actions nationwide. At least 15 Republican-led states, which collectively manage tens of billions of dollars in public funds, have proposed laws or policies that would similarly punish anti-fossil fuel banks over the last year, according to a Fox Business analysis. Now, it goes on to talk about Texas as well, jumping in on the action, but not just Texas. It goes on to list a couple. In addition to Texas and, of course, West Virginia, state finance officers in Kentucky, Oklahoma, Florida, South Carolina, Arizona, Louisiana, Idaho, Utah, Wyoming, Arkansas, and North Dakota said they would take or consider action against banks that boycott energy companies. Kentucky and Oklahoma, like Texas, are compiling lists as required by recently passed state laws. And I say a big fat amen to that. Now, that article goes on to detail more specifically what's going on in Kentucky, Oklahoma, and I believe Arizona, and a few more of those. But the bottom line here is this is a huge move. I am absolutely floored, and I am going to send emails to your representatives there, your Republican state there, and let them know that they are on the right path. Because bottom line, the liberals and the Democrats are destroying our country and making us all this poor class by implementing these global Agenda 2030 policies, their Great Reset agenda on the masses. This is what caused our gas prices to spike. This is what caused our crisis that we are now having with shipping. This is what causes massive inflation. This is what is going to cause you to have to set your AC, to have to ration your food, to not be able to eat meat and start eating bugs. These are the kind of policies that they want to force on you. And by the way, if we go net zero like the Green Agenda wants here in the United States of America, if China does nothing, if Russia does nothing, if many other countries do nothing, then we have made little to no dent on their climate. All right. And I've got so much more information, by the way, on what's truly going on with that. Get to restrictedrepublic.com right now, because we are in a recession. We are giving it away for $3.99 for the entire first year. Use the coupon code FJB. You can read between the lines on that one. But bottom line, there is a whole agenda that you need to be aware of. And the green agenda that they're pushing is not so green after all. In fact, to give you a little taste, what they're actually calling for is a massive industrialization of the United States of America, specifically here in America. Why? Because it would take 5 land masses the size of North or South Dakota. I don't remember which one it was, but 5 of them. Imagine 5 of those back to back, right? That's how much of our land would have to be industrialized with batteries, wind, and solar power in order just to power our country. That's not a green agenda at all. And not to mention the minerals that it would take to create such things. And these batteries aren't real biodegradable now, are they? Lots of problems with their agenda. And so the bottom line, one can only assume there's an alternative motive. And that alternative motive is to usher us all into a lifestyle where you have a richy rich on top and a poor on bottom, and they're going to take us there as quick as they possibly can. And they're using this Agenda 2030 style policies to do it. Well, let's spur on our Republicans. Meanwhile, you want to know how the liberals are viewing this? Just take a look. I had to pull up this New York Times article. Crap newspaper, by the way. Crap news. Here it is, NewYorkTimes.com. How Republicans are weaponizing, they say, public office against climate action. The Times investigation revealed a coordinated effort by state treasurers to use government muscle and public funds to punish companies trying to reduce greenhouse gases. You see how they twisted that? They say that they are punishing companies who try to go green. No, we're not. We're making it an even playing field because you're wanting to give scores to good little green liberal companies and social justice warrior companies by trying to get the other side completely eliminated and not financed. Go to hell, New York Times. Anyhow, I love all of you. Thanks again for tuning in. I'm Lisa Haven, signing out.